All right, family. We're in the house. We gotta make sure that voice is that sound is is coming through. You feel what I'm saying? If you're out there, make sure you throw a black power in the chat to let me know I'm in the house. All right, we're in the house, family. Throw a black power fist if you can hear the general. Hold on. Turn that down. Okay, I hear you. All right. All right. We're in the house. We're in the house. All right, let's get straight to work. I'm in the house. Okay. Yeah, so let's get to work, family. From the Nile Valley to Babylon, did African civilization influence Sumer? Okay, we got to deal with that because there's a lot of people out there with this biblical nonsense, and everybody want to promote something over Egypt, even though they package is real weak. Your package real weak. You can't, if you ain't got, but you ain't got no real megaliths, and your civilization only lasted for about maybe 100 years at the most. You can't come in here trying to take the crown. You got to sit on the sideline and cheerlead like everybody else. You can't come thinking you bigger than the Kushites, bigger than the ancient Kemetic, nation. You can't do that. You got to go on and get on the sideline and cheerlead. But you want the number one spot. And that's why we had to come in here with this fire and wake y'all up today. We're in the house, family. Now, when we talk about the Nile Valley, and we talking about what? We talking about Egypt. We talking about Nubia. We talking about Oxum, which was the ancient Ethiopia up in the beginning of the Nile. Yes, we talking about the great civilization of Punt, which was in the on the Horn of Africa. All of that was a part of the Nile Valley civilization. And so most definitely had an influence on Arabia, had an influence on what we know of as Mesopotamia. Some people say Sumeria. In the Bible, it is called Shinar. We're gonna get busy now. Let's hold on. Let's get busy. Okay, there we go. Hold on, fam. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. I don't know how all my. Okay, well, here we go. I need to go over there and get that other one too. Where the other one at? Let me get that other lecture and get it in there. Let's go to work. I ain't holding up. I'm gonna just fire off. We're in the house. Come on in. We're in the house. I need that other lecture too. Let me get it on over here. Okay. Okay, we got that one over here. Let me get that one. Make sure everybody in the house. Let me get that other one. I got to have all my firepower. I got to have all my firepower. I got to get this one over here too. All right, here we go. Here we go. Bingo. Bingo. We're in the house. Okay. Okay, so now when we get to talking about Babylon, we talk about you talking about Nimrod. Now in the Bible it says that Nimrod was the father of what we call Mesopotamia. And we're gonna read it for you. If you have not read it already, we're gonna read it for you. It says Genesis 10:6-20. Okay, it says the sons of Ham, and we're gonna get on that. Who is Ham? Ham is the patriarch, the father of the African nations in the Bible. He was one of the sons of Noah. We know it ain't no Noah. We know this is an esoterical book, but that's when you get off into the vocabulary, esoteric vocabulary. You got to go in the root of it and begin to break it down. Ham is calm, which is chem, which means black. Chemit, calm, chemistry, the black arts. You see alchemy, the black arts. We dealing with the root of this. So when you get into Ham, you dealing with blackness. And so the sons of Ham was Kush, which is Ethiopia, which is the Sudan. Okay, the ancient Sudan was the ancient Ethiopia was Sudan. The Ethiopia is a Greek word, and when they when they define Ethiopia, it was Nubia, Sudan. The modern Ethiopia, it renamed, was originally Abyssinia, and then it took on the name Ethiopia. But the ancient Ethiopia, as described by the ancients, the Greeks, was the Sudan. And so and that means something, because people tried to, lighten up, lighten up as much, all them civilizations as much as possible. So somehow they can sneak in and say that they was a part of it somewhere. But goddamn it, when you add the darker root of the tree, then you kind of shut the door, because we know we of the essence. We know what it is. We know what it is. But they are trying to whiten up Africa. They're trying to whiten up Mesopotamia. They're trying to do that. And so we had to shut the door on their ass real quick. So Kush, Egypt, now that's very significant. That's the one thing about the Bible that is very significant. Is we in the house? How we doing out there? If you hear me loud and clear, put a black fist in the chat. If you're out there and you hear me loud and clear, put a black fist in the chat. Egypt is the brother of Ethiopia. That's very clear. And that's what the African-centered teachers have always taught. So right there, the Bible is right and exact. If you go into Western academia, they will try to say that Egypt and Nubia is two different races, okay, which is two different races. And so we're very clear that they are of the same bloodline. They are of the same bloodline. And we got Put, or what they call Foot. Sometimes they put the P-H-U-T and Canaan. Now, Put is supposedly Libya. Some people say Somalia, and then you got Canaan, which has been scandalized in the Bible. Another Hermetic, another African nation that been scandalized. So these vagabonds, which we call the Israelites, can steal the land. Okay, and so the sons of Kush, which is who? Ethiopia, which is who? Sudan. The ancient Ethiopia is Sudan. Kush is what? The Sudan. How do we know that? Because people are saying, well, how do you know that, Seti? Okay, we're gonna go in, because if the good white man tell you, you're gonna believe it. So the People's Bible Encyclopedia, 1924. So we got an older, they ain't been able to change up, so we call them and shit where they told the truth. Now, what does it say about Kush? It says the name of Kush was derived from Egypt. Why are we at Kush? Because Kush is the father of Nimrod, who is the father of Mesopotamia. So the question is being asked, did the Nile Valley influence Sumer? Did the Nile Valley influence Babylon? And why is that significant? Because Abraham and all the and peoples is out here promoting that Sumeria is older than Africa, that Sumeria is older than Egypt, that Sumeria is older than Nubia, that that Sumeria is the mother of civilization. This is what the Muslim, this is what the Christian, this is what the Jew will say, because they so-called patriarch Abraham, who is the father of who God made the covenant with, that his people would be the chosen race. And so it starts with Abraham. And so they try to give Mesopotamia preeminence over Egypt. They try to say that, when the flood, Noah landed up somewhere in Turkey somewhere, and they went down into Sumeria, and from Sumeria, they went out all over the world. So they tried to promote that Sumeria is the Garden of Eden. Some people try to promote that, which is garbage. Shit, one of them rivers then dried up over there. The motherfucker ain't even a river no more. And so here it is. You got Africa with all this lushness, all these animals, all this water, fresh water lakes, and all of that. And so the paradise is still there. And y'all looking over in a goddamn desert talking about Iraq is the mother of civilization. This is when people know they didn't went crazy. You didn't went goddamn crazy saying shit like that. And so that's why we have to deal with Kush. And so it said the name of Kush was derived from Egypt. To the Egyptians, cash denoted what? Denoted the district south of the first cataract, which is down by Aswan, which really Aswan is actually the sixth cataract because you count backwards. But to keep your orientation, I'm going to leave it the first cataract, which is at Aswan, inhabited for the most part by races of a Nubian origin. Okay, of a Nubian origin. And so we see right there that Kush is Nubia, right? Ethiopia. What same dictionary Bible? What does it say about Ethiopia? You can look right at the top. And what does it say? It says Kush, country of burnt faces. What? Lying to south of Egypt, corresponding to what is now the Sudan. So Nimrod was the Sudan. See, that hit different. That hit different. You feel me? Yeah, that hit real different. And so people they're gonna be upset with the general because I'm putting too much information out here today. But let's come on down here so you can see the map. So you can see this great, Kushite empire, all through, including Sheba. Including what Sheba is Arabia, but originally it was Sheba. And the best part of it is all the way in the south. They call it Arabia Felix, which means Arabia the happy. This was the part of the Arabia that was most like the lushness of Africa. And it was the most sought after spot in Arabia. But so that included Sheba, and we went over that. Matter of fact, we can go up there and read what it says, Sheba. Didn't it say Sheba? It did. It said Sheba. It said Sheba. Where was I? Right here. You see? And sons of Ham, you see Seba, and then you see the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. So you got Seba, which is Sabaeans, the Sabaeans, and then you got Sheba, and then you got Dedan. So all of this is the ancient so-called Arabia. Before there was an Arabia, it was Sheba, and these was the sons of Kush, which was the son of Ham. Matter of fact, I got to go on and drop Ham in there. I got to get the definition of Ham on in there so y'all can get a clear understanding. I don't want you to be, to misunderstand nothing, So where's that definition for Ham at? I had it right there, and I'm gonna get it for you in just a second. Where is that? I gotta chase it down. I got to chase it down. I had it in here. Might not be on this one. Might not be on. Let me go to this next one. Let me go to the next one. Let me see if it's right here. Let me drop. Oh man. Let me see. Okay. Boom. Boom. Okay. The Bible decoded. Okay. Let me see here. It must be right here. Here it go. Let me see. Right here. Bingo. It ain't gonna take me long. It ain't gonna take me long. We're in the house. Let me drop it on in here. Bam. Bingo. Let me drop it. There it is. Okay, you see right there what it say? It say Ham or Cham, Cham, and we'll show you the ancient civilization Cham to Angkor Wat. Burnt, swarthy, black. You hear that? Burnt, swarthy, black. The youngest son of Noah, which is disputed. One day when Noah had drunk wine, Ham perceived his parent lying in his tent with his person exposed, which he ridiculed. And so Ham made fun of his father. Yeah, made fun of him. Say, yeah, man, what your drunk ass in here and fell out, and you're out here clowning, And so when Noah awoke, when he awoke and was informed of his sin, said it's of Ham's sin. They ain't gonna say nothing about Noah supposed to be a man of God falling out butt naked and shit, drunk and shit. And so what about his sin? Okay, so and was informed of his sin and said, "Cursed be Canaan." He didn't curse Ham; he cursed Canaan, his grandson that ain't been born yet. What the hell what Canaan got to do with it? It said, "A servant of servants shall he be to his brethren." So you gonna curse your own grandson to be a servant of his own brethren? I don't know what kind of family that is, but it ain't one I want to be a part of. It is believed that he had Africa for his inheritance, and that he peopled it, but he dwelt in Egypt. Africa is called the land of Ham, but really is Egypt was called the land of Ham in several places of the Psalms. But we know Egypt to be in Africa, but we know Africa is black. They try to make it seem like Egypt is something other than black. And so they tried to do a sleight of hand right there and say, where it said, no, it was directly speaking to Egypt being the land of Ham. And if that is correct, based on the definition in which this biblical encyclopedia has defined Ham, then Egypt itself, which is the land of Ham, means burnt, swarthy, black. So the Bible has given up the truth that Egypt is burnt, swarthy, black, like his father, like his brother, Kush, Ethiopia, Sudan, and so was Canaan. So was Canaan, in which the Israelites, vagabonds, went in there and robbed our people of their land, of their culture, of their language, and everything that they had. And today say God gave them permission to do it, and we ain't talked to no damn God yet. We ain't talked to no God yet. Have you talked to God? Anybody out there talk to God? Anybody out there talk to God? Well, if you talk to goddamn God, please call me up on the three-way. Speed dial me and call me up because I want to talk to him too. Okay. And so now let's see some things. Let's see some things. Let's get down here. Now the one thing, now this is Nimrod. Now let me show you the city of Nimrod. Is Nimrod on here? Let me see if Nimrod is here. No, it ain't on this map. Let me see if Nimrod is on this map. It's up there by Nineveh, I believe. Let me see. Okay, let me see. It ain't on this map. But I tell you what, it is up there by Nineveh. Okay, in the city of Nimrod. And what did they find up in Nimrod? They found all these ivories up there. That's Assyrian. Where all them areas up there was heavily influenced by ancient Egypt. But that's speaking to what what the Bible was saying, that these was Kushites. And you go into these is ivories. Matter of fact, what the other ones that I had some sweeter ones. Oh, here they go, right here. You see that? This is from Egyptian. This is Egypto-Assyrian, where the Assyrians had adopted the ancient Egyptian culture. you know, and so it was the dominant, the Egyptian culture, Nubian culture was the dominant culture throughout the land. So this is coming out of Mesopotamia. Did y'all hear that? It's coming from Mesopotamia. So look at this. You know, all the Egypto, Assyrian, Kushite influences on Mesopotamia. And so, you know, when we get, you know, and we say these things, nah, this is another one to kind of show you the influence. Now, for all y'all out there into Persia and y'all want to talk about Persia and Iran, and here it is, Zoroastrianism. You see Zoroastrianism, and you can see how he then came and remixed the ancient Egyptian sun disk in ancient Egypt. So he wanted to be down so bad, that Persian wanted to be down so bad that he hold on the back of the mighty sun god Ra. He didn't intertwine. This is the same thing that Jesus do with the halo and Muhammad and all of them. They try to intertwine themselves with the mighty God of the Most High, which is the sun god Ra. You see, so you see right here, even the heavy influence right there, the winged sun disk of ancient Egypt became the foundation and cornerstone of Zoroastrianism. Okay, and I'm gonna get off into the now this is again, I was just talking about this about the sarcophagus, you know, that came out of Egypt, you know, and so this one I believe is Phoenician, if I'm not mistaken. This is in Phoenicia. So you can see all the heavy Egypto-Phoenician influence, the Canaanites, but this is in alignment with the fact that they are brothers. You know, they are brothers. You can see the winged sun just over the stela. This is in Phoenicia. So it's all over the damn Mediterranean, all over the what they call Sumeria, you know, and so this is right and exact with what we have always been saying, that it went from Africa into Mesopotamia. It did not come from Mesopotamia into Africa. That's a lie. We got to quit these lies. Matter of fact, and just to give you a little nudge for all y'all out there, matter of fact, let me put the immortals up there. Let me put the immortals straight from the Museum of Susha. And so you see right there, you can see the black skin, the ancient Elamites, Babylonians. That's what it is. Okay, this one, I'll show you right there. The first one is from Babel. That's the Babylonian, and the one behind is the Elamite. You see, and they all got woolly hair, as you can see, wool in their beards. And this silly man, which is obviously an Iranian, a modern day Iranian. He's not an Elamite. He went and stood right next, and I love it when they do that. And you can see for yourself that he has nothing to do with that damn culture. I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of y'all perpetrating. And you can see it right there for yourself that he has nothing to do with that ancient culture. He's a usurper. You see, he's a usurper. He's a Johnny come lately. Johnny didn't even come at all. You see, you know, he ain't Johnny. He didn't even show up. You know, and so he's so damn late. He ain't even in the running, you know, to be identified as one of the ancient Elamites. So we got to just, you know, tell the truth when it's time to tell the truth. And the same for the Bible. It's a wrap. And that's why they looking for other sources now. Most people running out of the Bible now because they done been defeated with that. They done been defeated, and then so many Christian and all that archaeologists, they can't come up with no more. You done dug damn near to the center of the earth and you ain't found shit else. And so they ain't even trying to look no damn more. They done threw in the towel trying to find something with, trying to validate the Bible. The thing is, if it ain't on the top of the earth, Egypt, everything that Egypt needed to prove was on top of the earth. If they find something up under the earth, that's extra credit. You don't go up under there looking for your primary sources. Your primary sources supposed to be on top of the earth. They don't have nothing on top of the earth. So they steady dig, hoping one day they're going to find something. They ain't never found nothing yet. Everything is, disputable. But the one thing is not disputable is all the megalithic structures in ancient Egypt, Nubia, and Aksum that cannot be hid or talked away, and as if it doesn't exist when it's right there, megalithic, towering in the sky, blowing people's minds for thousands and thousands of years. You cannot just erase that. You cannot just erase that. But anyway, family, most definitely the influence the Nile Valley had on the whole damn planet, especially that area over there, Mesopotamia. That ain't nothing but Africa. Did y'all know that? Matter of fact, let me show y'all before I get off of here. Let me get up. Let me show y'all. And I like it. Look at this. Look at this. You see, and I like when this is what that white woman that stood next to the. She stood just like he, right there, right there. You see how she pointed up? They say, "Look at that woolly hair." It's clear the ancient Babylonians were black. I wonder why my lying-ass daddy told me they were white. She's sitting up there looking and pointing dead at his damn beard. Say, look. Hey, my daddy was lying like a motherfucker when he's trying to say they was white. And you can look dead at them and see it. So what the hell? That's why when you go to the movie 300, they start showing some of them damn Persians to be black. Didn't they do that? Y'all remember the movie 300? They start showing some of them Persians to be black. Yeah. But anyway, family, we're going to keep it moving. We coming back in just a second. Don't you go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. Wait a minute, they claim the Kush tablet is older than anything, but even that too, that's just what they found. Doesn't mean it's not something. That ain't true. What the hell is the Kush tablet from Mesopotamia? And they over there with goddamn mud brick. Is you going, man? Come on, man. Please don't do this to me. I don't want to see nothing about no damn Kush tablet or none of that. When you look at the structures over there and you see that shit that's around it, they put that around there. The Mesopotamians' architecture is less than even ancient India. How the hell they gonna be further more advanced than ancient Egypt? Make that make sense. You see, this is the best they got to offer. But let me show you something. Hold on. Let me show you something. They shut this down. This is the best they got to offer. Let me, since they say it's older. They say the Kush tablet is older. Wait a minute, let me drop this in real quick. I love that. Look at this shit right here. You see this building? Do you understand how much architectural, do you know how many sciences and arts it took to build that damn pyramid? And do you know that pyramid is hundreds of thousands of years of architectural evolution? Do you understand that? So ain't nothing, no tablet or no damn Kush or none of that can compare with ancient Egypt. I couldn't believe that if I was the dumbest nigga on the earth. I couldn't believe that if I was the dumbest nigga on the earth. This right here destroys all of that because this is the best they had to offer. How the hell you gonna compare something like this to something like this? And this right here, mud brick. The damn Mesopotamians never built in stone. Did y'all know that? I want y'all to be clear about this. So the Egyptians were so far. This is a people that didn't inherit hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. Ain't no way these people is older than these people. I don't give a fuck what book you read. You can read whatever book you want. If you that damn dumb, I'm just going to be 100. If you that damn dumb to believe a people that was still, this is the best y'all got to offer. Man, you know who put that little stuff you see around? It was just that melted down mud. It's a mud hill now, because it been melted down. And so Saddam Hussein put that around there. You see, Saddam Hussein put that around. You see this? It was originally like this. And then they want to fool you and put some little bricks around there. Them bricks is new. You see, they done went over there and rebuilt a lot of that shit over there like this and got people thinking that it's somehow the old. No, it's not the old. It's some new shit that they done built around. This is another one, so you can see it. So the only thing that was there was the mud. And so they didn't put a little, added some things on to make it look like it's something, which is really not. So you ain't gonna make me believe this is another one, whereas it's just a melted down mud hill. They never built in stone. So if you are willing to believe a man that's on this level right here is older than the people that built this, ain't nothing I could do for you at all. There's nothing I could do for you. Okay, so I just want to leave that there, family. We coming black. Don't you go nowhere. Just be ready to tap back in. We putting in some serious work today. And make sure you get over to Patreon. No, I ain't saying, hey, Rude, that you believe it. I ain't saying that. But I'm just saying that I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people do believe that. And so I'm not saying personally to you, but to the people that put that garbage out there. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no difference if you know how many tablets Egypt got. And listen, let me explain something. When you look at the language, the development of languages, you can see that the Phoenician, the Greek, the Aramaic, all of that come from Egypt. You can't show me where no other language come from cuneiform. Where at? Show me. You understand what I'm saying? Even the damn Chinese and all these languages, they come from the mother language, which is the Kemetic. You see what I'm saying? So when you start, that's one of my main points, that they acknowledge that it comes from the Hieratic Demotic. And then you got the Demotic, which later influenced the Phoenician, and the Phoenician, they said, influenced the Greek, the Roman, the Etruscan, you see, and all of that. So the Sumerians, I don't know, how. And so, I mean, and I'm thinking to myself, that's where they created really the Demotic so that they could communicate with the other peoples like the Phoenicians. And so that's what they created it for. And so I don't even see how, I don't see no other languages that really tried to, adopt cuneiform in the greater peripheral of civilizations. I didn't see the cuneiform being of that much importance. They really didn't have, what did they have? Their greatest resource was damn mud. They didn't have nothing that really people had to have over there, so it wasn't, I don't see, and so, but, that little tablet that they talking about, Kush, and when I went to that damn wall in the pyramid text, and I seen, man, listen, they was writing over everything. I see we get caught up a lot of times because we look at the one little, the one little tablet and shit, and they got writing all over Egypt. They writing over every goddamn thing. This is a people you can see that invented language. You see, and most of that shit that they found in Sumeria is receipts and shit. They got a couple of, but the most of them damn, was like, from my understanding, was receipts and little small shit like that. They didn't have no major, you know, like medical papyruses and all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? You could go to Egypt, man. You could see the whole, you know, on every damn temple, you know, whole encyclopedias of spiritual thought, you know. But anyway, we'll be black. Don't go nowhere. We coming back, family. We're going to start this up again. To brother hey, Ru, come on back, family, and everybody else, because we ain't done. Get over to Patreon, click that link at the top of the chat, and I'll be black.